Before meeting death, the scholar already composed his own epitaph.
This person's name was seldom mentioned by others. Incomplete, just like his fate.
He would sweep his own grave at the beginning of every month of reaping, staring long and hard at his stained hands. Hands that never seek the benediction of gods, accepting only the tricks and plots his brain presents.
Keep your distance from that blasphemous one, lest misfortune follows you like a shadow.
People warned each other thus before his lectern. In those rumors, the scholar's hubris looms foul and vile. He dares to proclaim ascendancy over gods and defy the Titan's will. But the one shouldering such slander pays little heed. His lonesome figure stands aloof, for he always believed that gods are no greater than mortal beings such as he. Grove of Epiphany, the paradise of the wise, yet harbors one shouldering the name of a fool. He calls himself a clear-headed teacher, leading lost students, yet he rarely guides or teaches, apart from gifting a single saying. Yet, for the rest of the student's life, that saying often proves to be more valuable than gold. Pupils often praise his words as divine utterances, to which the teacher replies with sharp retort. Apart from destiny, he seems able to decipher all laws. And now, even destiny may also be within his grasp. It was not so in the beginning, as he silently recalls the past under leafy shade.
Faced with the god's edict, even I cannot resist.
With no guidance given, he reaches enlightenment for the first time.
Yet, I sincerely believe this is not to be my destiny.
That became the cause of the blasphemy.
Miracles are the most conceited actions of gods. They are God's denial of humanity via might. Magic tricks are the most articulate rebuttal. They are humanity's imitation of godhood via intellect.
He habitually describes the feats of mankind as magic tricks, proving that the enlightened can step beyond the boundaries of reason. But magic tricks cannot afford to fail, even after 1,000,000 times. And for that, the blasphemous co-conspires with a god. Using the final trick, they wish to create a miracle to end all miracles. This is a tale buried in history. One day, a student elated in victory dashed around the grove's territory.
I saw the spell the professor carved on his body.
The youth with white hair was beside himself in joy.
It must be a power most secret, a means for one man to stand against 1,000.
That spell was rare indeed, for it was a secret way to overturn a cart of hay. The scholar was still a mortal body, as yet to snatch life from death, or to reforge a new flesh through a god's remedy. Various minute tricks and parody. He studied them all, crafting schemes, oh so busy. For everyone knows, he wishes not to use the divine power that is his, refusing rightful custody. And in that unwitnessed moment of his death, final tragedy, he still held the Haycart spell steady, standing alone, facing the evil enemy. Now, that craft is regarded as a magnificent study, not because of what it was, but because of its purpose, known to everybody. In fact, he once crafted miracles, forging silent servants using soil as vehicle. Though no sentience, they do their job without obstacles, rivaling Titankin in spectacle. However, one day, he suddenly changes his tune.
Creation is the Titan's work, and slavery is the Titan's manacle. When imitating divine evil, there's no need to invest reason, most pinnacle.
When the servants have all been recycled, he deigns not to explain, fearing to waste his reason or muscle. So he jokingly concludes the questioning with a chuckle.
If it's just for odd jobs, students are a better gamble.
The way he addresses himself comes from elsewhere. An imitation of a divine machine with some flair. He happily answers 5 questions for those unaware. Knowledge seemingly given with stingy care.
For a wise one, 5 answers reveal creation's secrets, the truth hidden and bold. But a fool learns but not, and is left in the cold. Now, inquire.
That is in fact the scholar's crafty snare. He hides the answer he seeks behind questions posed by those unaware, doling breadcrumbs as bait to lure and compare, whether the inquirer may be worthy of his wisdom to share. The scholar never looks at laws and measurements, ignoring the flow and shift of time's passage, and uncomprehending students gossip in eager regiments.
Why? Obviously, to drag out class time as a statement.
The student's answer seems rather adamant.
He is panicked by the flow of time, for his work is yet done, yet to implement.
The stubborn assistant interjects in a rare display of testament.
This man is too arrogant, and he intends to desecrate Orynyx's accomplishments.
The passing sage from another school brings admonishment. Outside the courtyard, the gossip flows into the scholar's ear. He silently gives a grade to every question and argument. But none know the true answer, according to his judgment.
Do not make him your enemy, even though he may seem frail and weak.
When a valiant warrior from afar assaulted the grove, he shattered their strength with only his eyes and pointing stick. He sent them running, pride cut to the quick.
He may seem cold and unkind, but he sees through human emotions with just a peek.
A student was troubled by love's trials and aches. With one sentence, he guided them away from heartbreak, letting destiny's strands weave a path to love and happiness's shape.
All is science, and human wisdom knows no bounds. Both martial prowess and emotions are knowledge that can be found.
He firmly believes that all things can be deciphered, bared to those who peek. Those that cannot be solved are not mysteries infinite, but only questions waiting to be answered, not obstacles bleak. For those who only protect themselves, the world cannot see their intentions. In sorrowful, parting hours, the scholar refuses trifling matters. Isolated in a corner of his library, he fiddles with instruments of crafters. Colleagues suspect him of creating new blasphemies, while students believe him to be making new miracles of mastery. The curious one's gaze through the window beholds, seeing a small wooden bird on the table, wobbling in comfort, swaying in the scholar's hand, an endearing cohort. I ask him, seeking his motive for this effort. The scholar, usually so quick to retort, refuses to answer, seemingly coming up short. Creatures that through his hands pass all change their functions, invoking wonder peerless. He once removed his hat as others witnessed, then walked on the hat over water with success. They also saw him light a flare, fearless, instead creating chilling cold air, not so harmless. That bird was once a toy, and now his messenger. Or perhaps still a toy. That is the magic trick of his success, and one of his teachings that he will profess.
Nothing in this world is ever born fixed.
The far-seeing must be far in thought. His teachings are like prophetic delight, yet he opposes prophecies with all his might. It's a time he refrains from looking back on, traveling all lands, chasing prophecies, trying to prove the priest's words were not unchangeable foresight. Countless times, he exhausted his crafty sleights, wanting to rescue the doomed and resurrect whites, wanting to shame the prophesized heroes of magic and might, wanting to sway promised villains to a course more upright. Perhaps fate could not guess his goals, but it could trample over his plans overnight. At the end, all his challenges flicker out, but he persists still in endless plight. His ambitions are too lofty, and so failure follows him never too softly. Through moments of defeat, felt increasingly common, the scholar learned one thing he has never forgotten. Respond to defeat with a smile haughty. Not from optimism, nor from a defeat of the heart.
I thank this misfortune's severity.
The laughter oozes with self-mockery, but is also full of a different emotion.
If this road is easy to walk, then future generations will not praise my name in piety,
says his ambition. On the day that the grove fell, he accepted his defeat and demise, as if embracing truth and heresy.
Believe in Titans, and you'll have a happy death. Deny the Titans, and you will have a fulfilling death.
Yet as the lightened soul bids farewell to its heavy shell, a Titan made an untimely call.
be startled, child of humanity. You have a final query in this world.
You finally came.
He does not seem shocked, and lets the core flame take over his shell.
Be more punctual next time, if you will.
Upon his first meeting with the Titan, the blasphemer is already on his best behavior. And towards the suggestion to reforge his body, he paid no mind.
I have so kindly offered you the best body. So why do you insist upon your mortal imperfection?
The scholar replies in candor.
Only by retaining the various flaws can my humanity be preserved in rigor.
His form remains in the mortal realm, while his spirit walks the river of soul shores. Between life and death, he fatigues, dwelling in the child of humankind's thoughts and senses. The Titan cannot bear to remain a mere spectator.
Why not ask me your questions, child of humanity? I am rich in wisdom, and shall speak with no ambiguity.
As though an unspoken pact, the scholar asked the god about all things, feigning a humble quest for knowledge.
Do you treat me just as a way to answer questions? A mere machine?
The Titan got what they asked for.
You should thank me, for good questions are rarer than good answers.
Compared to the joy of a new life, the scholarly breakthrough, carried home alongside death, filled the scholar's heart with more fervor. He returned to the Scourged Grove many times, and the black tide followed. Despite his defeats, he never sought help or permission. But at every desperate moment, the Titan would eventually take over one half of his body. The union of man and God, a flawed and clumsy choreography. It happened but once, a perfect harmony. One man, one God, speaking in one breath.
Stop stepping forward at the same time as me.
The Titan once revealed the secrets of mixing life, a boon seemingly a blessing, but full of malice.
What a tempting bait. But that's not my desired chalice.
Divine power is within his reach, but the scholar is not moved by that essence. This long and abnormal temptation is also a trial of elevation. For the sage can achieve all things, but shortcuts alone he abhors with silence.
Teacher, in this tumultuous world, have you thought about your will?
It was just a joke, but the scholar still at the grove answered with extreme caution. He has much to say about his posthumous affairs, exhausting all, fearing the smallest omission.
Teacher, could it be that you fear death?
The assistant asks in concern. It was a question needed, yet he gave no direct reply.
Philosophy is the inquiry into death, and I have always considered myself a philosopher.
The assistant recounts all the scholar's final wishes, each mighty as a mountain, asking what seemed impossible.
The tombstone must be made of my treasured rare stones, carved with Dromus patterns.
But that stone is a miracle of alchemy. Tough beyond measure, no chisel could have shaken.
That's also his plan.
The assistant softly reveals the hidden plot.
He hopes that instead of shedding tears over his death, we will find it in us to smile, even in a moment of sorrow.
It's rumored that in the depths of the grove, the scholar left a teaching ingenium, imitating himself to the utmost detail.
Go back. The living have not exhausted their thoughts. Go back. The dead have no desire to teach their works.
The ingenium's words are cold and detached, like the deceased man himself.
But if you have no one to talk to, fine. You can sit and converse.
Now, the grove is no longer bustling, and the scholar has returned to dust. Thus, few in this world now know how he was also troubled by solitude in life. Someone once suggested,
Perhaps your ambition should also find its place among your final wishes.
Pointless notion.
he dismissed in derision.
Unveiling the countenance of the gods is a task for the living.
Perhaps that is his haughty position. Such a melancholy topic, yet he insists on feigning a twist, avoiding it altogether. Perhaps these chapters should not be retained. Most are from the scholar's handwritten drafts, shown without his permission. Yet there seems to be a voice there in remonstration.
It's just the past. What harm is there in revelation?
Even in passing, his hubris still resounds in reverberation.
The smaller a thing is, the more it shows its weight. The more foolish my name is, the more glory my achievements will be in comparison.